There was once a young man named Daniel. Daniel had dreams, big dreams. He wanted to succeed, provide for his family, and live a meaningful life. But every day felt like a battle. Bills kept piling up. Opportunities slipped through his fingers. And sometimes it felt like the whole world was moving forward while he was standing still. One evening, after another long and frustrating day, Daniel sat quietly in his small room. The lights were dim. The house was silent. For the first time in a long while, he whispered a simple prayer. God, I don't have all the right words, but I need your help. Nothing dramatic happened that night. No thunder, no loud voice from heaven, but something changed. The next morning, Daniel woke up with a strange sense of peace. Not because all his problems disappeared, but because he realized he was no longer facing them alone. That small prayer became a habit. Every morning before the sun rose, Daniel prayed. Sometimes the prayers were long. Sometimes they were just a few words like, Lord, guide me today. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, things began to change. Daniel started making wiser decisions. He felt stronger during difficult moments. Doors he never expected began to open. But the greatest change was inside him. The Bible says in 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 17, pray without ceasing. Why would God tell us to pray continually? Because prayer is not just about asking for things. Prayer connects us to the one who gives us strength. Think about it. Your phone needs charging every day. Your body needs food every day. And your spirit needs prayer every day. Jesus himself showed us this example. Even with crowds following him, even with miracles happening, the Bible tells us in Luke 5 verse 16 that Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. If Jesus made time for prayer, how much more do we need it? Prayer is where fear becomes faith. Prayer is where confusion becomes clarity. Prayer is where weakness becomes strength. There will be days when life feels heavy, days when doors close, days when you feel like giving up. But those are the moments when prayer matters most. Because when you pray, you invite God into your situation. And the Bible promises in Jeremiah 33 verse 3, call to me and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. Notice that God didn't say maybe. He said call to me. Prayer is not about being perfect. You don't need fancy words. You don't need a perfect life. All you need is a willing heart. Just start. 5 minutes in the morning. A short prayer before work. A quiet conversation with God before sleep. Over time, those moments will become your greatest source of strength. Just like Daniel discovered, prayer may not always change your situation overnight, but it will always change you. And when you change, everything around you begins to change too. So if you're listening to this right now, take this as a gentle reminder. Before tomorrow begins, before the noise of the world fills your mind, take a moment to pray. Speak to God. Trust Him. Walk with Him. Because a life that stays connected to God through prayer is a life that will never walk alone.